Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Canada Games Park. It all comes down to this, the final meeting between Canada and USA here at the 2025 Para Series. I'm Mitch Kane, joined alongside by Stefan Berube, and let's jump right into the action. Let's look at the head-to-head stats between these two sides.
Well, Team USA coming off a big 5-1 win in Friday's night game 2, improving to 2-0, winning the series automatically. They're going to be looking for a series sweep. They've won now 8 straight against the Canadians, putting up 5 and along with a power play goal. Also dominating in the shot department, 35-7. And then now in the last 32 matchup, as you see on your screen there, Canada has only won one of those 32 games. Now this is the last game before the 2025 Para Hockey World Championship in Buffalo. So a lot at stake for Team Canada today as they really need to get momentum before they head to Buffalo.
As Team USA comes onto the ice, let's take a look at some of the leading scorers coming into today's game for the two sides.
Well, Declan Farmer, what a performance he put up in their 5-1 win, putting up 3 out of those 5 goals, a natural hat trick for the American stud. He added up to 206 goals along with his 155 assists, 361 points. On the other side, it's the captain for Team Canada, Tyler McGregor, pointless in the loss in game number 2, collected in assists in game number 1. He's going to look to contribute more, though, offensively here in game number 3.
Tyler McGregor just 1 goal away from 150 in his career. So he's certainly looking for that milestone, but Declan Farmer so far 4 points already throughout 2 games in the Paris series. He's looking to add on to that total today as we will throw it down to ice level for the playing of the American and Canadian national anthems. Here's how the two lineups shape up in front of a packed Canada Games Park. In between the pipes for the Americans, it's Jen Lee making his second appearance of the Para Series, a career 43-2 record, posted a .929 save percentage in Game 1 of the Para Series. On the back end, it's number 88, Kevin McKee, alongside Jack Wallace, who recorded point number 150 in his career. Up front, it's Caden Beasley, alongside David Eustitz and Declan Farmer, the man who recorded the natural hat trick just last night. For the Canadian side, in between the net, Adam Kingsmill making his first appearance of the Para Series, a career 16-14 record with a 2.24 goals against average. On the back end, Tyrone Henry and Zach Lavin from Essex, Ontario. Up front, it's the big gunners. It's James Dunn, Tyler McGregor, and Liam Hickey. We should be in for a great finale to what's been a fun week here in Thorold, Ontario.
It should be, and as the games went along, it looked like we get more and more fans in attendance. It's going to be a loud barn, and after an exciting first game here in the afternoon, expect the exact same here tonight. Canada, USA, Game 3. What more could you ask on a Saturday night?
Matt Fergenbaum, the official, ready to drop the puck on the lines. It's Eric Taylor and Rich LaFontaine. McGregor against Farmer. Opening draw is taken and won by the Americans. Here goes McKee. He'll get to center, fire it in deep. And the Americans are on the attack early. Lavin behind his own nets gets bumped off by Farmer as Lavin tries to turn it around quickly. Farmer, he'll take in the corner. Farmer works it up the near side boards. Farmer cuts over the middle of the ice, trying to get away from Dunn. Circles it down low, right between the sled of Hickey. Has a collision in the far side corner. McKee gets bumped off the puck. McKee with it down low. The Americans looking to work it free, but it's taken away by the Canadians, and Dunn is looking to break it out for the Canadians. Farmer, he'll spin, fire, get it back in deep as Kingsmill's out to slow it up for Liam Hickey. Hickey sees a lane as the Americans are going for a change. Hickey swings it to the near side for McGregor. McGregor across the line, hits the brakes. McGregor looking for the return feed, fires a shot in, up and over the target. The puck for Beasley down low. On the far side boards will be moved in by James Dunn, the Wallacestown, Ontario native. McGregor takes it down low as he's trying to bang that puck away as he gets it to his teammate Dunn. Dunn gets squished into the far side boards by Eustitz as it finally pops free for Malik Jones. Jones flips the side and gets it to the captain, Josh Pauls. Pauls gets hammered into the near side boards as the Canadians throw it right back in the offensive end. Cunningham, he leaves it up for Malik Jones on the far side. Look at the speed from Jones. Malik Jones in all alone. Shot, great save by Kingsmill as he gets hammered by Jones. And a whistle goes.
Kingsmill seems to be all right. As we take a look at the keys of the game for Team Canada, head coach Russ Harrington wants to keep it simple. A lot of mistakes, a lot of opportunities where they tried doing a little bit too much in the defensive zone. He wants his team to manage between the blue lines, like I mentioned, trying to do a little bit too much when they got to keep the game simple and assertive offense. There's so many points in yesterday's game where they had high quality opportunity, but instead they just dumped the puck. He wants to see his team be more aggressive in the offensive zone.
Mischevitz loses the draw there to the Canadians as there's Anton Jacobs-Webb. Cunningham, he's working it down to the corner. Roybal on it. He'll leave it off for Jones. Hard stop at the blue line. Jones leaves it off. Trying to dangle through, but it's taken away momentarily as Cunningham plays it off the boards and back in deep. Armstrong takes it behind his own net and will play it to open space. He gets it over to Liliev, the goal scorer for Canada in last night's game. Matthew Liliev up for Jacobs-Webb, who just rings it around the boards and in deep. Cunningham chops at it and starts the breakout for the States as Mischevitz will work it out. Mischevitz looks over his options, tries to go to the far side, connects. Nice pass over, but a big hit in the middle of the ice as Zach Lavin laid the boom on Dotson. Here goes Lavin up in the rush, tries to slow up, but he gets taken into the boards by Douglas. Another fast and physical start between Canada and the United States. Dotson has the one between his sled, but the Canadians fire it back in deep, and Jen Lee will leave it off for his defenseman, Douglas. Chris Douglas chops it off the boards, but it's sent right back in deep by Zach Lavin. Trying to step up and make a play is Matteo Pellizzari, new into the lineup, as he's making his first appearance of the Para Series. Pellizzari, just an 18-year-old from Vancouver. He's looking to provide a bit of a speed burst here for the Canadians. When we talked to Russ Harrington, he mentioned he's one of the guys that's looking to make an impact as the Canadians onside. Long shot in, blocked away as Dixon was looking to find the target. Pellizzari just rings that one around the glass. As stepping up first to it is Lavin. Puck is played in the near side corner. The Americans look to get a step. Lavin cuts it off. Lavin tries to leave it off for Pellizzari. He'll just shuffle it back behind the American net. As McKee sends it back out to neutral. Tyrone Henry will be first on the puck as he leaves it for his defense partner, Zach Lavin. Lavin tries to hit the brakes as the ever so dangerous Declan Farmer bearing down on him. Farmer backhands it through the slot. Beasley gets bumped off the puck by Hickey. McGregor tried to clear the zone, couldn't get it all the way out. Here comes Jack Wallace, moves it down low, a one-time shot just right through the blue paint. Beasley steps up on it. Beasley on the near side boards. The Canadians able to flip it down and get it out of danger as Jack Wallace will get there first. Canadians go for a change. Jack Wallace, a big 2-point night in the game last night. As this puck will go all the way down to Canadian territory. Will it go for icing? No ice the call. Eustace beats it out. Eustace tries to get that puck away, but it's taken in by Burnett, who rings it around the glass. Pauls can't hold the line as the Canadians are able to get out to neutral. Cunningham tries to make one-man miss. It's over to Pauls, to the weak side for Beasley. Beasley cutting over the middle, gets bumped off the puck, still with it, before Hickey finally steps up as Kingsmill will shuffle that to the corner. Eustace back down low for Farmer. Here goes Declan Farmer. Keep tabs on him. Farmer trying to get open. McGregor sticking to him like glue. This one moved over to Pauls. Shuffles it down low into the corner. Eustace there first. Trying to get away from danger, but it's cut off there by McGregor and Armstrong. Armstrong on his stomach trying to get that puck out. He's able to get up for McGregor for a second as McGregor chops it back to his defenseman. Armstrong flips it to the weak side, and the Canadians are able to get it out of danger as the Americans lead 2-0 in the shot category, 6 minutes in. Farmer looking for a quick reset. The Americans offside, not touched up. They'll have to on the delayed offside. Canadians working this one over for Jacob Webb. They get into the offensive end as Cunningham's there quickly, but this one will be called offside as we look at the men between the benches looking at the coaching staffs.
Well, Russ Harrington, the head coach of the York Lions men's hockey in his third season, joined the program in 2022. And on the other hand, we have David Hoff, 9th season with the Americans, the 2022 Paralympic Coach of the Year and 3-time World Championship gold medalist, and has won 1 Paralympic gold as the head coach of this United States team.
Liliev steps off the face-off as he gets cut off by Douglas as the loose puck goes Aaron, and it's scooped up by Noah Grove. Noah Grove from Frederick, Maryland. This one's turned over. Liliev back in the offensive zone. I think he hit that off the head of Jacobs Webb, who got right in Liliev's shooting lane. Jacobs Webb trying to hold the puck in, but it escapes for a moment as Malik Jones scoops it up. Jones gets pinned off on the far side walls. It's taken across the line by the Canadians, just on side, looking to move it through for Liliev. He goes behind the net, and he'll scoop it up first. He tried to leave it off on the far side, but no teammate helped there as Boyley took a wrong turn. Grove, a long lead feed up as that one will deflect off and into the Canadian zone. Rob Armstrong, he'll take it behind his own net, trying to get away from Grove, is being hounded in his own end. As Armstrong now has a bit of daylight and is able to work the breakout. Matthew Liliev takes it up ice. He'll get to center, fire it in deep as that one just misses the target. Big bounce off the end boards as scooping it up first was Kovacevic as the Americans try to clear the line. Armstrong works it up to the point. Armstrong backhanded that one through, was trying to get it through for Pellizzari, but couldn't find the lane. This one he worked over to Malik Jones, who's trying to go for a change, but that's going to be too many. Malik Jones was supposed to go for the change, and someone hopped on the ice too early, so the Canadians will go to the power play here. Too many men called against the United States.
And after not having a single power play, they get their first look. As we take a look at the defense of the game, Team Canada, Rob Armstrong, 21 goals, 47 assists, but you compare him to USA's team captain, Josh Balls. He's got 66 goals, 130 assists, added to that total in their win with 1 assist in last night's 5-1 win.
So it's a bench minor for too many men. Rob Armstrong from Erin, Ontario. Josh Balls, the Greenbrook, New Jersey native, just 4 points away from 200 in his career. As the Americans will now have to kill off the first penalty of the game. This one's sent down the length of the ice. Out of his net to slow it up is Kingsmill, but watch out, Farmer bearing down on him. This one's left off, but it's just outside the reach of Dunn. As Dunn's able to get back on it first. He scoops that through, but it's a turnover right to an American shirt. Jones to Farmer, and he missed the net! Oh my goodness, Declan Farmer! You don't see that very often. As Farmer missed a wide open cage, the official was already pointing for a goal.
Wow.
But not the case.
I guess there's a first for everything.
Farmer buries that 999 out of 1,000 times, and I think we just saw the one. Loose puck, Farmer looking for revenge. Over the middle of the ice, takes it to the left hand, fires a shot. Nice save there by Kingsmill. It's been all America so far on this penalty kill as Farmer once again behind the net. He'll just ring it up. The Canadians having trouble getting possession here. As Josh Paul's making the veteran play, he'll take this all the way back to his own end, get to center, fire it back in deep, killing valuable seconds off this clock. Boyle, they're going to move it forward. He finds Jacobs Webb. Jacobs Webb will circle back in his own end, looking to move it forward as he'll just dump it off the far side boards for Adam Dixon. Adam Dixon playing in game number 251, which ties him all time with Billy Bridges for most career games played with Team Canada. Just needs one more to break the all-time record.
And unfortunately, that game won't come until the World Championship at the end of May, so a lot of time to wait to break that record.
Dixon now on the puck. He told us after yesterday's game he's going to send Billy a text after he breaks that milestone, say, haha, finally beat you. Now Dixon, always a good character.
And he sure was. We got the chance to talk to Russ Harrington, and he gave us a little bit of information on how special of a player he is. He's just an incredible human being on and off the ice. He shows his passion, not just for hockey, but for para hockey. We were told that anytime there's a volunteer opportunity, he loves to share the PowerPoint slides, and he wonders for the dressing room, and he's just a great leader on and off the ice, and has been a huge impact for this para hockey program.
But Russ Harrington also told us don't let Adam Dixon know that, as the two have a friendly banter, and Russ would never say anything nice about Adam Dixon.
No, he will never say that. That's just from me.
That was all just made up.
That was ChatGPT.
That darn AI. This one's chipped into the offensive zone by the Americans, right out into the slot. Mischevitz has trouble balancing it as Liliev will take it away in the slot. This one's saucered across for Boyle. He works to the far side. A great pass, but that one just jumps over the stick of Lavin as he'll chop it forward to the corner. Noah Grove takes it behind his own net. Two Canadians whiff on him as Grove starts the breakout. This one goes into neutral. Henry leaves it off. Kovacevic looking to chop that forward, but he gets taken into the boards hard as Boyle looks to move it forward. This one taken in by Brody Roybal. Brody Roybal playing in career game number 150 today, so congratulations to Brody Roybal, one of the most dangerous players on this American side. He's going to be taken into the corner by Team Canada. As it gets stuck between a sled momentarily, Liliev has trouble getting it out. As Farmer just circling the offensive end. Kovacevic gets bumped off the puck. As Josh Pauls takes it, and it'll circle away from him. This one's moved over to Cunningham. Just onside are the Canadians as Cunningham nearly got clipped there by Zach Lavin. Farmer looking to lay a big hit as the Canadians play this one off the side of their own net. As Kingsmill trying to get the stick active there and poke it away from Beasley. Beasley to Eustitz, walks, waits, dropped it off for Pauls. Might have had a shooting lane there, didn't take it. Eustitz. on the near side. Farmer gets taken into the boards. Puck finally goes down to the corner as Tyrone Henry will send it around. Lavin. He gets bumped by Usitz as Lavin has possession of it in the corner. He tries to circle back but gets pinned off into the boards by Usitz again. Coming in from behind, Beasley crunches him into the boards. As a puck battle ensues on the far side, puck finally pops free and it will be taken up by the Canadians. Dixon works it over to the near side. Canada, once again, trouble escaping their own end here. No shots yet so far through the first 12 minutes as here comes Tyler McGregor. McGregor fires that one on target, and gently will shuffle it to the corner as the Americans will work it out the other way. Farmer, a nice move to evade one, but turns it over. Here comes Tyler McGregor. Tyler McGregor, great defensive play there by Declan Farmer to lift his stick. Farmer searching for goal number 150. McGregor, he gets taken down by Farmer and Pauls as the puck finally is knocked loose for Jacob Webb. He's going to get it over the middle of the ice as Sean Burnett was circling the slot, but couldn't get free. Usitz sends this down the length of the ice, and will it go for icing? Yes, it will. Canadians get an offensive zone draw with 2:16 to go in the first.
Well, already just 2 minutes left in this game, and even for both sides, there's been nothing to really look for shots. David Eustace did have a shooting lane, like you mentioned, decided not to take it, but it's been a quick physical start. You know, once there's open ice, there's defenders right on you, taking the space right away.
Draw one by the Canadians. Armstrong firing a low-lining shot in, but that one just wide of the target. Scooping up now is Boyley. Boyley dancing around on the blue line. Jacobs Webb goes between his legs, looking for a lane, but it's blocked off into the corner. Liliev stripped of the puck by Pauls, and here goes Josh Pauls with a burst of speed. He moves it over the middle. The ice looking for Usitz. Armstrong whiffs on that one, and the Americans will just go for a wholesale change as Canada has a lot of time to regroup. Armstrong looks over his options. Couldn't make a decision, and he ended up reverse hitting Beasley there. Gave him a bit of a truck stick. As Wallace will take in neutral as he was looking to get in deep, but is immediately checked, and Burnett will reset it, slingshot it back in his own end. Boyley whips that one forward, where it'll be taken in by McKee. McKee plays it to the weak side for Wallace. Here comes Jack Wallace firing his shot, but scooped up there by Adam Kingsmill.
And that's Jack Wallace, a goal and assist in game number 2. I mentioned how he reminds me of a Cale Makar, but he does remind me more of a Quinn Hughes. Great look off to get the puck on the weak side, and right there is Jack Wallace. Takes the open space, and with how quick he can skate handle the puck, he gets a nice shot of it, but Kingsmill with his best stop so far.
Nichols wins the draw back to Wallace, firing a quick shot in, but scooped up by the 25-year-old netminder Kingsmill once again.
USA, they're trying to get quick shots and then provide a lot of havoc in front of the net, but good job by Kingsmill to make sure that he only lets that one shot and that one shot only.
Nichols and Dixon on the draw once again, taken by Nichols right off the face-off, but Kingsmill flashing the leather, and the Americans starting to tally up the shots here in the first period.
Yeah, they're trying to tally it up, but they're not getting the greatest looks. Those are the easiest kind of saves for Wallace. Nobody in front of the net. He's got clear sight of where the puck is. Easy stop for him.
Face-off won again by the Americans. Wallace cutting towards the goal line, circles it right in front, but couldn't find the stick of Dodson. Here goes Adam Dixon now. He gets taken out from behind. No call upcoming as McGregor sprawling out on the ice, but it'll be taken in by the Americans and played in on target as Kingsmill will move it out quickly for Dixon. Lavin, he gets cut off on the boards. McKee at the point. Waits for line mates to come in for help as that shot misses wide of the target. Wallace tries to fire that on target, but it'll be just stuck away there by Kingsmill as we have 38 seconds to go here in the first. Americans starting to look dangerous here, looking for a late tally. Canadians with it in the neutral zone. McGregor, he gets taken down as the puck will be played to Dunn, and Dunn will chop it forward as here goes Adam Dixon. He's just trying to track that down first, but way out of his net is Jen Lee to slow it up and get it to his defenseman. Dixon going for the hit, he gets bumped off the puck. Dunn fires a shot in, but it's blocked off by the other number 4 in Brody Roybal. This one worked up to the point. 8 seconds left for the Canadians. Long shot in, swallowed up by Lee. No rebound there as the Canadians get their first shot of the period with just 4.1 remaining in the first period.
And that's the right idea from Tyrone Henney. You know, they haven't had a shot all period long, and obviously with the period approaching its end, you just want to throw it on net, and hopefully Jen Lee has trouble picking up that puck, as the puck did bounce, but Jen Lee able to corral it cleanly and get a big whistle for the Americans.
Jacobs Webb will roll in to take the draw here with 4.1 to play.
Surprising they're not pulling the goalie.
James Dunn getting told to move down a little bit as Russ Harrington trying to get the perfect shot off as this one to the left hand, up and out of play, as that will do it for the first period of play. We end where we started, knotted at zeros after an entertaining first 15 minutes of play here in Game 3 of the Para Series.
And defense is written all over this first 15 minutes of play. Both teams really having not the greatest looks. Canada really forcing USA to get any shots they can, and that's all from the outside, so credits to Canada. They got to continue to shut it down. Declan Farmer, not yet on the score sheet, and obviously a good job by Tyler McGregor, always being glued to him. I'm sure Russ Harrington, his plan is to make sure his captain always remains on number 16. Very physical start all the way around, as a lot of hits from both sides, not a lot of open ice available, and so you see a dangerous collision, but thankfully Kingsmill is okay, and Kingsmill has had a very solid start to his series, and boy, how did that not go in? Declan Farmer, a man that, again, you mentioned 999 out of 1,000, he gets it in, and we just witnessed history, but against Declan Farmer. But overall, a good start to this game. A lot to adjust offensively for both sides. We'll see which team do the better adjustments.
Feels like a very familiar first period from what we've seen over the last 2 games. A very physical start, lots of hits being thrown, and then you kind of get into the second period, teams settle in a little bit, kind of get more of an offensive focus, and Team Canada certainly going to need that offensive focus. Just one shot in the first period. They need to get more shots towards Jen Lee, as he's one of the best goaltenders on the entire planet, a 43-2 record with a 0.65 goals against average. So Canada as a whole have to get more shots towards him and start testing the San Francisco native. But that will do it for the first period of play from Game 3 of the Para Series. Score still 0-0. You're watching on Brocktv.
The game of lacrosse was given to the Haudenosaunee people from the creator as a gift. Nice, good catch.
The game of lacrosse is played for healing. It's often called the medicine game.
It's a game that's about respect, and mostly it's the medicine.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, it's so important because it signifies a day that allows us to come together and to remember and try and reconcile and remember why we're in the midst of truth and reconciliation.
Giving back to whoever's sick or whoever is needing it. For me personally, it's always playing for the people that played before me, people that are playing now, and the people that are playing after. Gift to us, to gift to the world.
Rugby is definitely a unique sport. There's so many different aspects to it that not only physically but mentally, it definitely takes its toll on you.
You get beat up pretty bad on the field, and it can kind of drag you down once you get back to school and through the week.
Seeing big dudes run around and then talk about their emotions and stuff is something you don't normally see, and it's something that we need to see. We need to see people showing their emotion side, showing that it's okay to not be okay.
I think just leading back to the rugby team, we're such a tight community that if you can have those open talks, then nobody's alone.
Rugby is really important, but there's bigger goals and there's bigger objectives.
We've always wanted to be involved in the community, driving programs like this where we can actually see actionable and measurable impacts.
Just try to do more than just be good athletes on the rugby field. We want to be good people as well.
We're looking to help out in the community and to do something that's just a bit bigger than ourselves.
Every single year, women in sport continue to rise.
It's so cool to see the women's game finally get the attention that they deserve.
We all support each other, and I've never seen that before.
You know, let's keep looking, let's keep getting better, let's keep growing, right? It's getting there, but it's not there.
We need to go and be us and be the best version of us so far this season.
I love the acknowledgement of women in sports.
I think it's only up from here. I think there's no limit on where it can go. There's not a single person in the world that can't see that this is really special, so I think there's no stopping it at all.
This is a historic day in the women's game.
Great morning to talk about women's sport. We just talked about the draft and the PWHL. Now we're going to focus for the next few minutes on women's professional soccer.
I'm very grateful that there is a league starting for women in Canada.
For like 6-year-olds to be like, oh my gosh, I can play professional soccer in Canada.
Rugby has been growing over the years so much. We have incredible teams and incredible national teams that do amazing things.
Like I said, it's a new league, but the aspirations are huge. Women's pro sport is so new.
Toronto, welcome to the W.
First ever PWHL hockey game in Vancouver, a sold-out crowd welcomed the best in women's hockey.
It's so cool to see the women's game finally get the attention that they deserve.
Well, I think it's the biggest day in the history of women's hockey, I really do.
Never thought I'd see it in my lifetime, and I did, and thank goodness.
We need to go and be us and be the best version of us so far this season.
At no point did I ever think that I would have the option of coaching professional soccer in Canada.
There's so many women in this game that have been phenomenal at blazing a trail for these young girls.
Every single year, women in sport continue to rise. There's no end to it.
I think it's just looking outside the box and bigger picture, not just tunnel vision on, oh, it's pretty good right now. Well, it is, but let's keep looking, let's keep getting better, let's keep growing, right? It's getting there, but it's not there.
I love the acknowledgement of women in sports. I think it's so important just for all the younger athletes to see what they can do. I think we're lucky as women in Canada because we have such a strong national team to look up to.
Rugby has been growing over the years so much, especially for women's rugby. Like, it has grown so much. Like, Canada just won 15s last year.
We've come a long way as a country, but there's no professional women's team in Canada, so I would love to see them develop a pro team here, and I think we're on the right path. It's always growing, and it's awesome. There's been like a spike. I feel like in Canada, like soccer has become super big for women.
When I was a player, there was no semi-professional, there was no professional league to aspire to in Canada.
I definitely noticed as I was growing up, like there would become more and more leagues available. For example, when I was younger, I would play on my brother's team because there wasn't a team that like I would fit into. But like now, those options are available. There's OPDL, there's League 1, League 2, there's U20, there's so many different opportunities for people to be able to like, especially women, to be able to explore that.
Canada's kicking off their first ever women's professional league, and it's kicking off in 2 months, 3 months. And I think it's incredibly exciting.
When I was growing up, it was, we only knew the famous men's players. So I think it's a beautiful thing to see that these kids are able to look up to some women in their sports.
Fast forward to where we are now, it's incredible how far we've come. Obviously, also saying there's still a long ways to go, but I think it's important to credit the progression that we've made. Honest to God, so since I was a player, you know, that's like 50 years ago. It's unbelievable.
Within the last kind of like 5 years, the girls like minor programs have really been elevated in a different way.
I didn't really start playing hockey, organized hockey, until I was about 12. My family, they didn't think it was normal for girls to be playing hockey. And there was a team that I signed up with my brother, and they wouldn't allow me to because I was a girl.
Originally, I started playing ringette when I was younger because I didn't want to play with my brother, so Now when I do go home and I see that there are girls teams for all the young ones, it's pretty cool.
Girls that are coming up through minor hockey right now are coming up at the perfect time because, you know, as the professional side grows, there's going to be more teams that come around and there's going to be lots of room for them.
Like, the opportunity is immense, and it's just not for players, but it's for officials, it's for medical staff and trainers and stats and analytics and equipment people, and like there's so much, and it's just so cool and so wonderful.
I think it's only up from here. I think there's no limit on where it can go. There's not a single person in the world that can't see that this is really special, so I think there's no stopping it at all.
I would say at times difficult, but very, very rewarding.
It's difficult because of opportunity. It's always people second guessing you. It's always people doubting you.
I think one of the challenges is just always needing to prove ourselves. There's always a push here for the women's team to be able to fight for their spot.
If they don't believe in me, then I don't believe in myself sometimes.
The biggest thing is always seeing the equity piece not being there. And no matter what coaching position I have been in, there's always been that challenge of, hey, this isn't right, and always having to fight.
Played on teams where the women's team in this club is put down, they are put to the side, they aren't cared about. There's times when we on club teams have been given like all of the flat balls in training, and you're given the minimum, but it's just little things that make it harder to succeed.
So it gets really quite fatiguing, where you're constantly trying to battle for something that, in my mind, should just be a norm and should be in place already.
So it's tough. You have to fight battles and you have to fight for what you believe your team deserves. But I also think it's incredibly rewarding because there are times when you aren't given the same resources as other teams and you succeed more.
I think it's just always those hurdles, and like, I got by, I got by, I got by.
We've created an insane amount of resilience in push, and I think for me that will follow everywhere in my job, in my future as a person.
You're going to learn resilience and grit. All of those things are really important things to learn in life. And what a better way to learn it through sport, and in a sport you love and you're having fun with, and you have an instant group of family that you're leaving family but coming into an instant family here, right? It's amazing.
It's been incredible to see the community at Brock, truly, especially the women's community.
We are very fortunate to have as many women coaches as we do. And like I said, I think it's quite rare. Like, our executive director of Brock Sports and Recreation and our associate director of Brock Sports are both women. We have women's basketball, female head coach, women's hockey, female head coach. Rowing, I'm not even gonna say women's rowing. Rowing has a female head coach and a female associate head coach.
I don't think that you get that a lot anywhere else. And we kind of all just rally together and we're here for each other. And
the community that we have, just, I think, one of the best that I've ever been in terms of direct colleagues. And I think when the players get to see us collaborating with each other too, it just creates an environment where they want to do it as well.
Us being student athletes, we're such a small cohort here at Brock, and it's a unique ability to be a varsity athlete.
Specifically women who have gone through what you've gone through, which isn't necessarily these big challenges, but just being a woman in sport is a challenge in itself sometimes.
We've all kind of had like some shared events, like one canon event that's kind of led us to this area, whether that's playing on a boys team when we were younger because we needed to play up but there wasn't that team available. We can obviously find those connections really quickly and understand what we're going through.
We all support each other, and I've never seen that before. We go to each other's sports because we know how hard it is to play a game and not have people come watch you because you're a women's team.
Like, those little efforts make so much impact on such a small community of Brock sports. Like, it was amazing.
Supporting each other is the best way to kind of get out there, make some friends, and really just hone in that we are special here on campus. And I think there's so many amazing athletes here that go beyond their careers at Brock and do fantastic things. Everyone's so talented, and I think it's fascinating every single time that I go support another team.
It's honestly been beautiful to see it. It's like a heartwarming moment. We have so many teams come support us. The women's basketball team comes to our games, women's volleyball, rugby. It really creates bonds and supports the teams, understanding that, you know, we're there for you and we know where you're at. I think it helps us to be better players and to just be better people, honestly.
Constant reminder that, you know, we belong here. Constant reminder that we can do just the same that the boys can. It might look a little different, but, you know, we're just as tough, we're just as mean. You know, we're strong, we're capable, and we're pretty badass, so I think that it's a really special feeling to, you know, be one of very many women in sport that are every day trying to prove someone wrong and blaze a trail for the ones coming up behind us.
Right now, we're getting a little bit of ice repair, you could call it. Zamboni left a little bit too much water, but the official, our head referee, Matt Fergenbaum, will call them back to center. Just one power play in that first period. It was for Team Canada. It was a bench minor for too many men for the United States. However, it looked more like a power play for the United States as they had the majority of the chances. Canada didn't muster up their first shot of the period till the final minute of play. Certainly looking for a bit of a different story here in the second period. McGregor versus Farmer. The two men leading the charge for the two respective teams on the draw, and the faceoff is tied up and under the sled of McGregor. It finally pops free. As Lavin looked to step up, but will be slapped ahead by Hickey. This one goes behind the American net. McGregor and Farmer on the far side. Farmer takes a spill. As working with it is done. Trying to get it through. McGregor on the doorstep. McGregor turns, spins and fires, but it was blocked in front. I think that deflected off of Hickey. Canadians just hold the line. A nice effort by Tyrone Henry. Beasley gets it up to Farmer. Farmer in stride. With a burst of speed up the middle. Farmer tries to get the shot off. He does, but fired it high over the net. Wallace takes from the point. Swings it down low. That one bounces off the stick of Beasley, but held again by Wallace at the line. Wallace plays it to the far side to open ice, and it'll be taken in by Hickey as he gets checked off quickly by Eustitz. Puck goes behind the net as Beasley looks to scoop it up. Here comes Beasley. Tried to fire that into the slot, looking for Declan Farmer, but whiffed on the pass attempt. Declan Farmer at the top of the circle, cuts over the middle, nice move. Farmer tries to saucer that one through, but it gets blocked in front by Hickey. Farmer will just play it high off the glass as the Americans go for a quick change. Beasley back in on the attack. Collision right in front of the American bench as Roybal, playing in his 150th career international game, looks to get that one back in deep. As Roybal in a battle for it, he gets knocked to the ice, and that one clears the line, and the Americans touch off offside a minute and a half into the second frame.
Declan Farmer had a really good look early in that first minute, and I'm surprised he was able to get a shot off as there's 3 white bodies all around him, and he just roofs it over the net. Missed opportunity there, but an offside against the Americans.
Both second lines now out for the teams. It's the Mischevitz line going against the Anton Webb's line, as here comes Brody Roybal. Roybal moves it right to the slot. Mischevitz can't pull the trigger. Roybal off the side of the net as Liliev will go track it down. Liliev saucers that forward, and this one will go down the length of the ice for an icing call as Pauls wins the race against Boyle.
You know, we mention all the time, you don't want to be icing the puck, but for Canada, you don't want to be icing the puck in the second period especially. Obviously, these are fresh bodies on the ice, so it might not be that big of a deal, but whenever you're getting tired, you got to find a way to get the puck out and not put too much power so you're able to just get enough for a change.
And another key, you're giving an offensive zone draw to the American side, who they've been dominant all weekend in the faceoff circle. Lose it there, however, as Jacobs Webb wins the draw and will be rung around the boards for the Canadians. Boyle gets taken out as Liliev steps up, and he gets bumped into the boards by Pauls. So it's moved forward by the Canadians, but a quick strip there by Roybal as he spins and fires it into Canadian territory. That one just outside the reach of Kingsmill. Mischevitz moves to the slot. Roybal walks in looking for the backdoor feed. The no-look pass goes Aaron. Grove moves it down low, in tight. Mischevitz trying to pull the trigger, but it's blocked away. Douglas works it up to the point. He gets taken out as Boyle laid the check against Jones. Bouncing puck high off the glass is finally flipped out by the Canadians and scooped up by Grove. Noah Grove, his shot attempt was blocked off by Anton Jacobs Webb as they get tied up at the red line. So work to the weak side. Jones trying to step up. Jones slaps it over the middle of the ice, but it's taken in by Jacobs Webb. Bouncing puck, finally controlled by Boyle as here come the Canadians on side. Boyle gets taken out by a big collision with Douglas. This one sent down the length of the ice as the Americans will head all the way back to their own end, icing the call.
A couple of big hits, but early on, Roybal had a good look in the slot area, but then decided to go for the backdoor feed, but nobody was there. Kind of a little miscommunication that could have led to possibly the icebreaker.
Adam Dixon's line will head out as he'll slide into the face-off circle. And the draw is won by the Americans and Evan Nichols. Douglas fires this one high off the glass. Lavin steps up. Lavin with the loose puck. Had it knocked off for a second, but Dixon steps up and fires. Rebound chance in the blue paint. Kovacevic couldn't jump on the loose puck as it'll be taken in by the Americans. Looking to start a nice stretch pass to the far side for Noah Grove. Grove across the blue line. Lead feed there for Malik Jones just outside of his reach. Jones avoids a big collision on the near side boards. It's played up to the point. McKee trying to hold the line, but the Canadians will finally get it out. Here comes Kovacevic with a burst of speed down the near side. He gets bumped off the puck by Grove as stepping up is Nichols. Nichols tries to cut it up the middle of the ice, but it's knocked off by Pellizzari. Big hit laid on the far side as Hickey sends his man into the boards. Kovacevic trying to work that puck free as it gets tied up in the American near side corner. Puck finally comes up free as Lavin lays a big hit there, but here come the Americans the other way. Musselman, this one's worked to the far side. McKee up in the rush. McKee leaves it off for Musselman. Musselman had that one bounce off his stick into the corner as Hickey lays the check on him. Liam Hickey looking to get this puck out for the Canadians. He'll just fire it to open ice as this one is held at the line. Jack Wallace Tries to get that one free as it does clear the line. Declan Farmer back onto the ice. He steps up. Moves it over to Eustace. He whiffed on that puck, trying to get it in deep to Canadian territory as Liam Hickey will scoop it up before he gets his blade taken out. Long stretch feed, intercepted by Farmer. Nice pass down low. Wallace trying to get it out of his feet, but had it trapped up there and couldn't pull the trigger. Farmer below the goal line. Farmer, sharp angle shot turned away by Kingsmill. Rebound at the side of the net, scooped up by the Canadian netminder as he gets a whistle and a face-off upcoming.
And that's what you're going to get when Declan Farmer and Jack Wallace are on the ice at the same time. Good chemistry from the two. You got a nice pass by Farmer to Wallace that couldn't really get the right shot, and then Farmer able to wrap it around, and from that angle he's able to roof it and force Kingsmill to really jump at the puck and really be aggressive, and he's able to make the stop and cover the puck.
Declan Farmer back in on the draw. He received an ESPY in 2014 for Best Male Athlete with a Disability. Trying to knock this one home at the side of the net. Farmer gets checked off into the boards. Puck coming free, but Farmer, a nice effort to just hold the line. Gets it over to Eustace. David Eustace working on it in the corner. This one gets sent out by the Canadians. Gonna be a race start between Pauls and McGregor. Pauls will slap this one back as Dunn takes and fires it in deep. No icing the call. Lee will be out to slow it up for his defenseman. This one's shipped off the glass as Eustace will take. Eustace looking over his options. He leaves it back for Josh Pauls. Pauls moves it up for Farmer. Here comes the American. Great move by Farmer in the neutral zone to get away from McGregor as here comes Pauls with a burst of speed. Pauls trying to cut over the middle, loses control of it as he got taken out there by Burnett. Nice defensive effort by the Canadians as Pauls was trying to carve through the offensive zone. Puck battling in front of the net as it will be moved to open space. Pauls holds the line and sends it right back down to the corner for Eustace. Eustace moves it over. Here comes Declan Farmer. Farmer cutting over the middle of the ice, goes to the left hand. He gets taken out for a moment, carving through Canadians. Trying to get to the front of the net, can't bash it home. Stepping up from the point was Douglas, but he gets taken out. Roybal firing a shot, blocked away by Burnett, still on the rebound as Roybal scoops it up. He chops it off to the corner, worked up to the point. Nichols slaps it back down for Farmer. He cuts to the outside. Farmer circles back, right over the middle as Douglas couldn't pull the trigger, and it's worked out by the Canadians. This one's sent down the length of the ice. Farmer will be back first to it. Canadians desperately need a change. Farmer will slingshot it to open ice as it'll be a race for the puck. Look at Jones with a burst of speed, lost a stick. He'll have to go back for that. Armstrong scoops it up first. He leaves it up for Zach Lavin, flips it forward, but is knocked down by the legs of Douglas. Zach Lavin stepping up in the rush, moves it over space. Here comes Matthew Leliev just outside of his reach as Mischevitz will cut him off. Leliev in the corner, looking for help. Moves the puck up to the point. Henry takes. We'll just circle it down for Jacobs Webb. He backhands it through. Boyle moves it backdoor feed. Just for the Canadians, they score! Matthew Leliev! 2 goals in 2 games, and the Canadians open the scoring.
What a goal by Matthew Leliev, his second of the tournament, but it all started from a beautiful feed from Boyle, able to reach it out. Great position for Leliev, able to get to the puck from his left-hand side, moves it to his right, and it forces Lee in a position where he cannot stop the puck, and it's nothing but a wide open net for Leliev, and he gets his second of this series, and Canada with the icebreaker. Just like in game 2, we saw how well USA responded. We'll see if we get a similar response or if Canada can shut it down defensively.
And here goes Jack Wallace, plays it right out in front as Wallace has it below the goal line. Wallace takes from the sharp angle, plays it right through the blue pane as it gets knocked away for a moment. And here comes Jacobs Webb. It's moved up and into Canadian territory. Musselman brings it around the boards. Americans looking to clear. Shots now 7-4 in the game, 3-1 in favor of Canada here in the second period. And Canada Games Park is buzzing. The crowd is loud. This one played to open ice. Here comes Jacob Webb on the attack. He gets knocked into the boards by McKee as a big collision happens on the far side of the ice. This one played to McGregor. Tyler McGregor walks, fired it over the net. Still searching for 150. Lavin gets drilled into the near side boards as McKee will play to open ice, and it'll be a race to the puck. This one will go down the length for icing with 6:12 to go in the second.
Canada is feeling it right now. They've got the momentum right now. I'm loving the way how they remain resilient even after scoring. And McGregor right there, he finds the puck. Lots of open ice in the slot, but he just roots it up for the field goal. But this is not football. We are playing para-hockey. So for someone looking for goal number 150, that could definitely make him a little bit more frustrated, but he'll get another offensive zone face-off after that coverage from Lee.
I'm sure Canada would love a 3-point situation right there, but not the case, as even a 4-goal lead may not be safe against the Americans. Certainly a 1-goal lead is not, as the Americans, after the icing call and the quick cover, they'll finally get a change as they'll counter the Canadian top line with their top line. Here comes Declan Farmer and company.
Yeah, David Hoff, he wants his best guys out there to try to even things out.
Farmer wins the draw as Pauls will take it behind his net. Pauls looking to get it started for the Americans. Cycles it over. Farmer knocked it down, but it's taken away by McGregor. Bouncing puck will be scooped up by Pauls. Here comes a 2-on-1 for the Americans. Give me a race for the loose puck as Armstrong takes Beasley into the boards. Beasley escaped for a moment, but it's scooped up by Dunn as the Canadians will look to work it out. A long saucer pass across the far side of the ice as Eustace is there first, as he has to avoid the pressure from Tyler McGregor. Farmer, he gets bodied into the boards by Armstrong as he plays it to the far side corner. Burnett leaves it off for Dunn. James Dunn takes it to the outside, is looking to get it clear of the line, but he gets pinned into the boards by Cunningham. This one will be tied up and finally blown down with 5:12 to go in the second period.
And in this period, it's right now USA trying to find a way to develop in the offensive zone. It's been all Canada this period. Shots 4-1 in favor of Canada. They've really done a fantastic job playing a full 200 foot of ice here in this one. And there's been by far, obviously still 5 minutes left, but it's been so far their best period of this series.
Farmer loses that draw as Lavin will take and play it to open space, as on the rush will be Hickey on the far side. Grove plays this back in deep. The Americans just on side as Farmer takes control. Farmer cuts over the middle, firing a shot through. Kingsmill doesn't know where it is as it's loose in the slot. Stepping up was Beasley, but McGregor able to get there in time to block the shot attempt. Beasley moves it up for Farmer. Declan Farmer cross ice feed looking for Grove. He couldn't slap it home on the back door. This will be saucered forward by the Canadians. Will it go on target? No, it just misses wide. Icing against the Canadians.
It's seriously impressive how Declan Farmer can see where all of his teammate is. It's like he has a 360 vision, as it originally looked like he was going to give it to Houston, and then he just sauces it across as he tried to find Noah Grove cutting to the net, but just out of his reach. But again, just his vision is incredible, and it's why he's such a challenge to defend, because if you get one man on him, he's going to find someone else.
Jack Wallace takes it below the goal line. He tries to fire a quick shot as that one's scooped up by Kingsmill.
We talked about Declan Farmer, and let's go to Jack Wallace now. His ability to move the puck around. He's got so much confidence with the way he can stick handle the puck from his left to his right. But right now, one thing I've been really impressed has been the rebound control from Adam Kingsmill, really not allowing the U.S. to have any secondary opportunity, and that's key for Canada.
Canadians will counter the American second line with their own second line, as Josh Mischewitz on the face-off for the Americans. Played D3 hockey at St. Mary's growing up, as here goes Liliev on the chase. Liliev in a race with McKee, no ice in the call, and Liliev's there first. The Canadian goal scorer tried to work it out on the short side, but hit it off the back side of the net. Jacobs Webb with it behind. Works it up for Lavin. Lavin walks, fires a shot through, but scooped up by Jen Lee.
Well, that's good forecheck from that second line for Team Canada, starting out with Mathieu Leliev, able to beat the race, and then battles it out with one of the top defenders for USA, and then Anton Jacobs-Webb, good puck support there, takes it out of the puck battle, feeds it to the point, and they get a good shot off, and overall, what a shift, and what a game it's been for that second line.
Jacobs-Webb and Mischevitz back in on the draw again. This will be tied up and taken by the Americans. Wallace hits the brakes to get away from Liliev as it's moved out and helped the line momentarily, but moved forward by the Americans. Burnett will send this all the way around the boards as he tries to get it up for Vincent Boyle. This one's turned over. Here comes Mischevitz. Mischevitz gets it over. Roybal, a strike. He scores! Brody Roybal ties the game in his 150th game. It's 1-1.
What a feed by Josh Mischevitz, the Illinois native, and he feeds his winger, Brody Roybal, with a beautiful shot, but just a great cross-ice feed. Tape-to-tape pass, and just like that, with 3.5 to go, it is a tied game once again. And only the second shot of the period as well.
The Americans get the answer they desperately needed, as once again, we are deadlocked. Pauls looking to quickly break the tie. He'll play it in to the offensive end. One gets tied up on the far side boards as it's moved over the middle and played out by the Canadians. We are race for the puck as Kovacevic tries to get by, but is knocked down there as Cunningham will move it out. Intercepted by Pellizzari. Pellizzari gets hammered in the neutral zone by Musselman. Cunningham cuts it up the middle. This one will be played to Nichols. That's cut off by the Canadians and clears the line. As a tie right in front of the American bench, a physical play. The Americans want to call, not going to get it. As looks like Adam Dixon getting into it there with Nichols. Armstrong tries to clear that puck out. Musselman steps up. Musselman, he'll work it to the outside. Swings it down low behind the net. Farmer on the puck, great move. Farmer at the side of the net, tries to play it through, but Kingsmill will quickly cover that one up as Musselman and Pellizzari get into a bit of a shoving match after the whistle.
Well, we talked about how Pellizzari slotted into the lineup. He gets to play with Adam Dixon, one of the all-time great pair of hockey athletes. And for a guy who gets to play in that first game of the series, you don't want to do too much out there. You know, it's not that much where you have this opportunity. So you really got to keep the game simple. Make sure you're in the right position. You support your teammates well. Not try to do too much, because then that will lead to mistakes. And so far, Pellizzari has done the right job so far.
Pellizzari just playing in his 15th career international game. 1 goal in those 15 games. And we talked to Russ Harrington. He mentioned playing with Adam Dixon. Dixon used to be a defenseman, but he made the transition to forward to kind of help grow these young forwards who we've seen throughout the tournament, whether it's Jonathan Dagg or Pellizzari or whoever it may be. There's just a lot of growth opportunities of playing with a guy like Adam Dixon is a good way to grow your development. As the Canadians have trouble clearing the line. Farmer with it at the point. He'll be able to keep it in and play it off the far side boards. Eustitz with it now. David Eustitz, he gets pinned up as the Canadians look to clear it out. Under 2 minutes to play here in the second. Battle for it in front of the American bench. Still tied up and finally comes free. Lavin saucers this one forward as it deflects off the stick of Dunn and into American territory, but Grove is back there first. No Grove. A nice play to leave it off for Nichols. This one's played forward and into Canadian territory. No icing the call. Zach Lavin takes behind the Canadian net. He hits the brakes and tries to move this one forward for the breakout, as it will be worked out by the Canadians. This one slapped forward down the length of the ice by Tyrone Henry, and it will go for an icing call with 1:02 to go in the second period.
Tyrone Henry not too happy with himself, and that's what USA is capable of doing with their speed. They force you to make a reaction quick. You don't really have much time with the puck for Team Canada, and right there, that's one of the many examples of what happens when USA forces you to move the puck. An icing.
American roll out their second line against the Tire top unit as McGregor Lost the draw momentarily, but just reaches around Mischevitz and sends it back to his defenseman Lavin in the corner. Mischevitz trying to get this puck from Lavin. Lavin will just pin it up against the Zamboni door as we are under 50 seconds to play. McGregor will send this one around the American bench, wanting a call, not going to get it. Wallace firing a long-range shot in, scooped up by Kingsmill.
Jack Wallace with a bullet from the point. But again, another great job by Kingsmill and only allowing that one shot being the only chance for USA. His rebound control has been phenomenal. Not much traffic in front of the net as well, so good job on Canada pushing every American to the outside. But Team USA, they got to try to find a way to work away around these Canadian defenders, just try to make it more difficult for Kingsmill to see and track that puck.
Jack Wallace having a fantastic series against the Canadians. He picked up the secondary assist on the earlier American goal. Now 4 points in the 3 games. Wallace stepping up, has that one taken away. Boyle slingshots it forward. Will be a race for the puck. Paul's trying to use his speed. Jacobs Webb's there first. No icing the call. They both go into the boards hard. It will be scooped up by Roybal. Roybal hits the brakes and saucers it down the length of the ice, and it's a breakaway. What a pass from Roybal. Here goes Jones in all alone. Jones is taken out from behind. No shot for Malik Jones. And Henry goes into the Canadian net, getting a whistle with exactly 6 seconds to play.
Well, Tyrone Henry redeeming himself, and he's got a couple of words from Lavin to Malik Jones, but what an effort by Tyrone Henry. As they really looked at Malik Jones, he was gone. What a feed by Brody Roybal. A Hail Mary pass with 6 seconds to go. But defensively, again, Canada shutting the door.
Last chance here for the Americans. 6 seconds on the clock. Faceoff is won by the Canadians. Henry will look to just play this open space, keep it away from the front of the net. Mischevitz spins and fires, but it's scooped up by Henry. And that will be all for 30 minutes of play. Both teams get on the scoreboard, but we stay locked even. It's 1-1 after 30.
What a period for Team Canada. They outshot, not really outshot, but they won the shooting department in that second period with 5 shots compared to the U.S. only 4. I'm sure USA is shocked with the way they played that period. They were expecting to be the heavy favorites. It's been their best period all series long, but Team Canada really made a lot of good adjustments, making sure Declan Farmer is shut down. Tyler McGregor really doing a good job being physical when he is on the ice and really just not giving USA any good looks. Obviously, that one beautiful feed by Misevich led to the Roybal goal. But other than that, great game so far for Team Canada, but they still have 15 minutes to play here in Game 3.
No penalties in that second period. Matthew Liliev, the goal for Canada, which opened the scoring, assisted by Vincent Boyle and Anton Jacobs-Webb. For the Americans, Brody Roybal, the goal that evened it up. Josh Mischevitz and Jack Wallace on the assist. So through 30 minutes of play, we're tied 1-1. You're not going to want to miss third period action between Canada and the USA in Game 3 of the Para Series here on Brocktv.
The game of lacrosse was given to the Haudenosaunee people from the creator as a gift. Nice, good catch.
The game of lacrosse is played for healing. It's often called the medicine game.
It's a game that's about respect, and mostly it's the medicine.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, it's so important because it signifies a day that allows us to come together and to remember and try and reconcile and remember why we're in the midst of truth and reconciliation.
Giving back to whoever's sick or whoever is needing it. For me personally, it's always playing for the people that played before me, people that are playing now, and the people that are playing after. Gift to us, to gift to the world.
Rugby is definitely a unique sport. There's so many different aspects to it that not only physically but mentally, it definitely takes its toll on you.
You get beat up pretty bad on the field and it can kind of drag you down once you get back to school and through the week.
Seeing big dudes run around and then talk about their emotions and stuff is something you don't normally see. And it's something that we need to see. We need to see people showing their emotion side, showing that it's okay to not be okay.
I think just leading back to the rugby team, we're such a tight community that if you can have those open talks, then nobody's alone.
Rugby is really important, but there's bigger goals and there's bigger objectives.
We've always wanted to be involved in the community, driving programs like this where you can actually see actionable and measurable impacts.
Just try to do more than just be good athletes on the rugby field. We want to be good people as well.
We're looking to help out in the community and to do something that's just a bit bigger than ourselves.
Very special game. It was a gift to us from the creator.
It's a game that's about respect, and mostly it's the medicine game.
We use this game for when there's hurt in the community and there's medicine needed.
Giving back to whoever's sick or whoever is needing it.
So when you have like your stick in your hands, you're there not to just play for yourself and make yourself look good. It's a game that you're supposed to play for those who can't anymore or for those who aren't here with us anymore.
I feel like it brings us all together and it just creates this energy and this aura when we're playing that kind of just brings you together and like strengthens bonds and creates families.
Like when you step onto a field or you're just doing like wall ball or whatever it is with your stick, it kind of brings like more joy to your life.
Well, I can't really explain what it means to me fully, but it really is a medicine game.
The sport of lacrosse is so embedded in the Niagara region, so it was important to me that we honor lacrosse, especially on a day of truth and reconciliation. So what we're doing is spending the day learning about and honoring the sport of lacrosse.
The game is really important to Indigenous people across Canada. Lacrosse is what they call a medicine game, so it is used to honor those who came before us and play for those who can no longer play. So if you guys just come out with an open heart and just give it your all, I think that'd be really appreciated, and I hope you guys have some fun.
That was the right idea, though. That was the right idea.
The game of lacrosse was given to the Haudenosaunee people from the creator as a gift.
First actual game dates back to what is essentially our creation story for us between the creator and his brother. But then the first game that wasn't played by them was between animals, and it gave all the animals like different like abilities. So what they have, like you look at a deer, they're fast. You look at a bear, they're big and strong. Turtle, they can like handle anything really.
The wooden stick was used to represent like our connection to the earth and animals and life.
It's just a big difference in how the game has grown. Switching from wooden sticks to like what we use as plastic and metal shafts, helmets, gloves. Because before it was just a wooden stick and that was it, a wooden stick and a ball.
So much history has been lost in terms of just the way that, unfortunately, history has treated Indigenous individuals, especially in the Niagara region. It's important as we look to move forward together that we honor a sport that is continuing to grow. It's important to draw more light and awareness, bring more wants and desire to play the sport.
I think a lot of people's goals now is to grow the game and then share that game that they were gifted.
To us it's a gift, and we just want to gift that to whoever. Like going to high schools is lacrosse a gift to them because, like I said, gift to us, to gift to the world.
Where's your dad? Where's he lurking?
Personally, I've always been super connected to lacrosse. I've played many sports growing up, but I always just loved playing lacrosse. I've always felt that it's just something that I want to do forever.
Playing lacrosse allows me to play not only for myself, but for my community back home and for my ancestors.
It's a big thing, like it's always around us. And that you drive on the reserve, you can drive by anybody's house or whatever. Half the time they'll probably have a lacrosse net. So we're basically surrounded by it.
Lacrosse at Brock has helped me to have a second family. Like, it's helped me at times to not be homesick because I live 3.5 hours away from here. And so there's not always time to be able to go home to my community and be able to see my family. And during the season, I find that lacrosse really gives me the strength to continue through school. Whereas other times without lacrosse, it's been a challenge.
For the Brock community, it's mostly just trying to show, like, you know, we're still here, we can play this game too. Especially as a First Nations member, you don't really see many here. And me personally, I just want to think, like, if a couple of us are here, soon it could be a lot of us here and we could all be playing.
The National Day for Truth and Reconciliation is a day to honor and respect the children and the survivors of those who didn't come home from the Indian residential school system in Canada.
It's really important because it acknowledges kind of that dark past that Canada does have and doesn't always necessarily like to talk about. It's important especially because it's a lot more recent than I think people realize.
They should also recognize that all Indigenous people have been affected by residential schools.
Where I lived most of my life on the reserve, you could drive to Brantford and there's a residential school still standing up. Just, you can walk in. Grandmother on my mom's side, she lived along the river on the far side of the reserve. Sometimes some kids are running along it, just trying to get away from that.
Like, my grandparents attended residential school, and there are a lot of survivors across Canada. And we should recognize their strength and the resilience they had, that they're still here. But also recognizing the people and the children that did not come home to their community.
And not only the children that didn't get to come home, but the generational trauma, I guess you could say, that it's now experienced. So, like, I don't know the language of my people. Like, my great grandma and like family before them didn't want to talk about it and like didn't really like talking about it because they wanted to hide that part of their identity so that they didn't have to kind of experience that part of it. So I think it's really important to talk about like how much culture and like identity was lost.
So I think it's really important for not only our Indigenous communities and people in the Niagara region and at Brock, but I think it's important for everyone to recognize the history behind how we got to be here as a country and the steps that we still need to take moving forward.
The orange jerseys is an idea we had when everyone started to talk about Orange Shirt Day and started to wear orange shirts on September 30th for Truth and Reconciliation. But I said they should get orange jerseys and they should play a game on that day. And then I remember last year he told me, like, hey, we're getting orange shirts, we're getting orange jerseys, and we're playing a game on that day.
playing lacrosse on the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation is important as an Indigenous person to me, just because I spoke about it being the medicine game. It's very healing for a lot of us who play.
I think it's really important to acknowledge because it does bring medicine to the people. So not that people have healed or have moved on from this, but to acknowledge a beautiful thing that people were given on a harsh day is a good way to educate people about it in a way that is enjoyable and makes people want to care.
What makes me proud is that I can play the sport I love and I'm growing up with, and also like really have my heritage out there. And it just really shows like who we are, who we can be.
I think it's important because it allows not only us, but everyone in the community to remember and to consider again why we're here. And this recognition is required for reconciliation.
For me personally, it's always playing for the people that played before me, people that are playing now, and the people that are playing after. The kids that played then, now, and after I'm gone. The kids that went to these schools and never came back is really what hits home for me. A lot of kids grow up thinking, and they can see these athletes and think, I can do that too.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for third period action between Canada and the United States here in Game 3 of the Para Series. It's a 1-1 game as we head to the final 15 minutes of a battle that's lasted all week long. I'm Mitch Kane, joined alongside by Stéphane Berube. Stéphane, third period action. Stakes are high. What are we to expect?
All hands on deck. Again, this is the last game, last period before the World Championship at the end of May. So you got to give it your best. You got to give it your all because there's no more U.S. versus Canada until quite possibly the gold medal game for that tournament. So you really got to make sure you get the pedal on the metal. You really give it your best. Canada has played phenomenal, by far their best game, has tied so far. They won the shot department in period number 2, 5-4. Shots are 10-6 in favor of the U.S. The U.S., I'm sure, not satisfied with the way they have performed in this game. So I'm expecting them to really take it to that next step as they dominated game number 2, 5-1. They want to find that level of play that they had. But Canada, they have to shut that level down and find their groove and make sure they're in control like they were majority of that second period.
Both top lines out on the ice. The Declan Farmer line quiet so far. Declan Farmer, no points to this point. Not saying he hasn't been a threat in the offensive end as we've been calling his name all night long. However, not registered on the score sheet to this point. Going up against Tyler McGregor, the captain of Team Canada. And we are underway, third period action, 15 minutes to go in a 1-1 game. Faceoff is taken by the Americans and Wallace slings it down into Canadian territory. Kingsmill, he'll slow it up as the Americans flip aside quickly as Eustace lays a big hit on Hickey. A nice outlet pass is up for Dunn. Dunn trying to carve around McKee, fires a quick shot in, but it's patted away by Jen Lee. The American outlet pass is intercepted by Hickey as he'll send it right back down to the corner. McGregor on the puck first. McGregor moves it out in front as the net comes off. I don't think the officials realize that as Jen Lee's net is off. The Americans trying to spin the puck around as Eustace will play it to open area as the American net still off its moorings right now. Americans just onside. Farmer, backdoor feed for Eustace. Great save by Kingsmill.
Wow, what a quick jump start of this period for both sides of the ice. Kingsmill makes his best save, and the net is still off on the American side. But I wanted to bring back on McKee, Kevin McKee. Great patience. You had a Canadian coming down, didn't want to force going on one side and allow his opponent to go to his blind side, stay patient, and once he saw that his opponent committed to one side, he attacked.
Face-off is taken behind the net by the Americans. Malik Jones working on it. Works up to the point for Cunningham. Cunningham. This one gets pinned off right near the Canadian bench. Cunningham trying to hold the line, but it's worked out by Armstrong as he's able to slap it into neutral. Cunningham on top of the puck as a battle for it ensues in neutral. Jacobs-Webb, he'll scoop it up, hit the brakes, and move it behind to Liliev, the goal scorer for the Canadians. Liliev, 2 goals, 2 of the 3 Canadian goals so far this week. Liliev lays a check against Mischevitz. Roybal, he gets it free and will fire it in behind the Canadian net as Kingsmill has that one hop over his stick. He has to hustle back to the blue paint. Armstrong, he'll take it behind the net. So we take away by the Canadians and Malik Jones lays a check on the far side. Nichols rings it around for the Americans. Bolton can't track that puck down as it will be scooped up by Liliev. Matthew Liliev, long feed up for Jacobs-Webb as here come the Canadians. Jacobs-Webb leaves it off, Boyle in all alone, shot, scores! Vincent Boyle gives the Canadians a 2-1 lead.
And it's again the second line for Team Canada. This time, Vincent Boyle, what a beautiful goal, what a snipe. Starts off with Mathieu Liliev, the long stretch pass to Edson Jacobs-Webb, and then a nice pass to his left where he's got Vincent Boyle cutting to the net. A clean breakout and a beautiful transition from defense to offense, and Team Canada for the first time have 2 goals in a game, and they've got the lead for the second time tonight.
What a ridiculous shot too, just top shelf. Jen Lee had no chance of stopping that one as this one goes down for an icing call. Americans, a quick offensive draw upcoming.
And I'm surprised that David Hoff is not going to roll with Declan Farmer off the bat as he goes with his third line of Nichols, Bolton, and USA. They got an offensive zone face-off. They've been able to respond very well to giving up a goal. We'll see if that continues here.
Nichols against Dixon on the draw. As will be taken away by the Americans. They're trying to push it towards the front of the net. Gets tied up under Musselman. Here comes Grove. Grove trying to pull the trigger. Gets it free. Great save by Kingsmill. Musselman works it over to Grove. This one now behind the play. Canadians looking to work it out. Dixon moves it up. This one deflects off the blade as Pellizzeri was trying to move it free as Musselman will take it on the far side. Pellizzeri chucks him off the puck as Dixon will fire it in deep and behind the American net. Grove. He'll move it over to the far side for Malik Jones. Excuse me, that's Evan Nichols. Nichols carving through neutral. Nichols to the outside, to the inside, tries to fire the shot through, blocked off by Tyrone Henry. Musselman, the only man in the blue shirt in the offensive zone as the rest of his line mates go for a change. This one's intercepted. Here comes Declan Farmer back onto the ice. He has his stick chopped at as the Americans are offside. Matteo Pellizzari will take it behind his own net. This one now scooched forward for McGregor. He's in a foot race with Eustace, but Eustace will get there first into the corner. He leaves it off quickly for Wallace. Wallace is quickly checked and spun around like a Beyblade by Hickey as it's taken away on the side of the net. This one now played into the corner. Dunn looking to work it free for the Canadians. This one will be played behind the goal line where it'll be scooped up by McKee. Interesting enough, Kevin McKee's wife, Erica McKee, is the captain of the women's American team. As here comes Declan Farmer. Declan Farmer to the outside, in all alone. Farmer, a shot stopped by Kingsmill again. Farmer back on the puck. He'll work it up to the point. Eustitz works it to the far side. Wallace tries to fit it through, but it's blocked off by Hickey. Dunn will chip this off the boards and clear it back out to McKee, who's waiting on the red line. Stripped by McGregor. Beasley has that one as it'll be played into the American zone as the Canadians had to touch up on the delayed offside. Here goes Declan Farmer looking for the outlet pass. He nails Eustitz on the rush, but had to slow up and come back to that puck as Jacobs Webb knocks it off. Eustitz stick for a second, but the Americans are able to work it back to neutral. Farmer will slap that one into Canadian territory as he goes for a line change. As Henry will drop it off for Jacobs Webb. Jacobs Webb chips it off the boards, able to get up for Hickey. Hickey chopping at it to try and get that through as Boyle will look to advance it past the red line. Cunningham chopping at Boyle as Boyle spins back the other way. He'll get to center, try to fire it in, but it's taken away by the captain, Josh Pauls. Josh Pauls sees a lane, cuts to the outside. Delayed penalty upcoming to the Canadians. Pauls fires a shot, great save by Kingsmill again.
It's going to be an interference call against Team Canada, but what a great shot by Josh Pauls. Able to get it right in the armpit, but a big stop by Kingsmill. Those are tough ones for any kind of goalies. And he's able to really grit that puck with the armpit and make sure it doesn't squeak on by. As we take a look at a great opportunity there for Musselman. And then another great opportunity from Declan Farmer, able to get to the defender's blind side and get a good look, but then the most recent stop got by Kingsmill. Been a busy period so far for him, but he's shut down every shot so far.
That's Matthew Liliev going to the box, 2 minutes for interference, just the second penalty of his young career, as Pauls will take it at the point. Pauls waits, swings it over to the far side. Is that one just outside the reach of Roybal and sent down the length of the ice by Liam Hickey.
What a great effort by Hickey. Team USA 2 of 5 on the power play so far in this series. Big power play for them as they look to try to even things out.
The Americans have a power play goal in both games of the series so far. Here comes Farmer with a burst seat. Farmer cuts to the outside. He's knocked out of the puck. Rebound chance. Farmer shot off the side of the net again. Farmer can't catch a break tonight. Play at the side of the net. It's worked up to the point. Wallace walks in, goes between his legs. He's taken out quickly by the Canadians, but it's worked up by Roybal again. Roybal has daylight, works it over. Wallace in, off the post, rebound chance, no goal! No. It goes in the back of the net, but it's knocked in by a hand, face-off outside. We stay 2-1 for Canada.
That is what I call March Madness here in Canada Games Park. Unbelievable. If the net was just an inch, maybe 2 inches bigger, Team USA would have a 3-2 lead. Declan Farmer, a golden opportunity, and then Jack Wallace, a golden opportunity off the post, and then a hand jab led to the puck. Gloved into the net, as you see there. And
Farmer does whack at it.
He's trying any possible way to get a goal, and he can't buy one as of now.
Here comes Wallace back in the attack. Just on side are the Americans. 50 seconds left on the power play. It's worked up to the point. Here goes Pauls. Swings it over to Farmer, who has that one jump off his stick. Farmer circling back. Cuts it to the outside. Looking for a shooting lane. Doesn't find anything. Farmer work to the outside. Pauls working in at the top of the circle. Leaves it off. This one up top for Farmer. Near collision with Pauls. He works it over to Roybal. Roybal circles back. Roybal, the lone goal scorer for the Americans to this point. Pauls works in, leaves it off. Farmer in, tries to get it through to the slot, but taken away by the Canadians. And Boyle now on the attack. He's trying to outrace Pauls at Farmer as Boyle is just beat out there by the American.
Oh, here we go.
He turns it over. Vincent Boyle in all alone, is taken out in front of the net. No call upcoming. Roybal, he'll work it out. We are back to even strength hockey. This one's worked over to Wallace. To Farmer, but across the line. It's taken away by Dunn as he'll slap it away. And here goes McGregor one-on-one. McGregor, a nice move, but he gets taken out right on the Brock Badgers logo.
What a sequence of events based on Boyle. What a great penalty kill he had. Never chased one bit, just followed the play, made sure any shooting lane was blocked, and then a golden opportunity the other way, but just shut down by USA.
Worked into the slot. Here come the Canadians again. A nice save there by Jen Lee.
Well, Team Canada with the 1-goal lead, not afraid to still apply any pressure. And they get a good look there, but right off the chest of Jen Lee, and he holds on for a much-needed whistle for Team USA as David Hoff will roll with his third line of forwards with Musselman, Bolton, and Evan Nichols.
Canadians will match as they send out the Adam Dixon line. Face off one cleanly by Nichols. Americans will work this out. Noah Grove chips it off the boards, looking for the lead feed as it's taken in by Musselman. Musselman works it to the far side for Bolton. Bolton, he'll take it in, firing a shot, just missing wide on the short side. This one a little too fast and escapes all the way back out to neutral as Douglas looks to get it back in. He'll fire a bouncing puck to the far side corner where it's going to be Armstrong first to scoop it up. He left it there, but it's taken in by Bolton. Bolton behind the net, tries to work it out in front, but it's knocked away back to the corner. The Canadians looking to clear this one out as Burnett rings it high off the glass. It's pinned up right in front of the Canadian door. Russ Harrington directing traffic as it clears right into the Canadian bench, and we get a whistle with 6:03 to go in the third period.
I talked about Matteo Pellizzari keeping his game simple, and that's exactly what he does there. The puck goes on the far side, and a golden opportunity for USA, but he takes the right body position to quickly make USA to make a shot and a reaction. That shot went wide, and overall, great job by Pellizzari shutting it down.
Top line back out for the Americans. For the Canadians as well. So here comes Eustace off the draw, but he has it stripped away by Lavin as this one's flipped out by the Canadians. Here comes Dunn on the attack as Dunn has to work on Pauls. Dunn scoops it up right at the hash marks, works it over the middle of the ice. His pass was intended for McGregor, but opts his stick. Long shot in, that one just misses the target as Tyrone Henry adds some velocity on that one. His shot slings all the way back to Canadian territory as Lavin will circle back to try and get away from Eustace. He's got to get it out quickly as Farmer's hounding down on him. Dunn moves it over the middle. Across the line, Hickey. Hickey walks in, fakes a shot. Hickey still on it, gets knocked down, and a penalty upcoming. Interference against the Americans, and the Canadians getting a big power play here with 5:24 to go.
I was going to say Thomas Hickey should have shot the puck, but instead he draws a penalty in Team USA. A big penalty against them with 5:24 to go. But don't think just because of that that'll easily chunk or take out 2 minutes of that clock, as Declan Farmer was just inches away from a shorthanded goal. And of course he's going to be on the ice for this penalty kill. So Team Canada, they're very mindful of that and they've got to be careful.
Canadian power play 0 for 1 in the game, 1 for 3 on the week. As Dixon will move this back to McGregor. McGregor being hounded away by Farmer, and this one will clear the line back out to neutral. Lavin has a circle away from Farmer. Farmer still on the attack as this one was played forward for McGregor. He didn't know where it was as Farmer will spin back and fire it in behind the Canadian net. This one we left off as a big collision behind the Canadian net between Eustace and Lavin. It's now essentially a 4-on-3 as those two get tied up behind the play. Here comes James Dunn across the line. Dunn hits the brakes, tries to move it over the middle, but it's taken away, and here comes a 2-on-1 for the Americans. Jack Wallace with Eustace on the far side. Eustace got a step ahead, and it's offside.
Wow, what a break. Jack Wallace, he loves to stick handle, and he tried to mix around Lavin to try to get to his blind spot, and that led to him going to his right, and that led to him not getting into the offensive zone quite yet, leading to Eustace being offside and a tough break for the Americans.
Eustace had a big game yesterday, picking up 2 assists. But a crucial mistake there, as it was a near scoring opportunity. But good work by the linesmen to catch that one, as Eustace was a good fair share offside. McGregor playing it through his blade, moves it up for Dunn. Canadian just trying to get across the line. Dunn does not get across, as offside is the call, as Dunn gets stood up by the American captain, Josh Pauls.
Just about to pass the midway mark of this power play, and again, it's really the zone entry the key for Team Canada. USA, they're very good at guarding the line. They continue to do that, and right now, a big face-off for Team Canada. If they could win this, they could easily find a way to get in the zone.
Nichols and Dixon on the draw. This one sent down the length of the ice by Nichols, as Hickey's going to be back first to it. 49 seconds left on the Canadian power play. It's work to the weak side for Dunn. Dunn chops that forward, but it's going to be scooped up by Pauls, and he'll wait before sending it down the ice as the Americans look to set something up offensively. A nice move by Jones. Malik Jones to the outside. He hits the brakes, leaves it off for Nichols, carving through, but Kingsmill sticks that one away to the corner. Canadians having trouble clearing the line. It's worked back down low for Jones. Cunningham now on it. He's looking over his options, but he has the puck stripped away, as this one's worked to the weak side for McGregor. 11 seconds left on the Canadian power play, as Lavin will move it up for Jacobs Webb. Nice move by Jacobs Webb as he's into the offensive end. He's being caught quickly by Nichols, has to do something here as he lost the stick, just has the one, and he drops it off quickly. McGregor carves back. Nice move to get away from one, but had it slapped away. And he goes out to neutral with 3:11 and ticking here in the third. Henry moves it up for Boyle. Boyle going the wrong way here as it's turned over. Trying to move it forward was Farmer, but it gets knocked down by a Canadian body. Jacobs Webb, a nice move, another nice move. Tries to make a third before getting rid of the puck and getting to Liliev. Liliev just flips it through, but it's taken away by Farmer. The top line back out there for the Americans. That one looked to be offside, no call. Roybal leaves it off. Mischevitz waiting for a shot. Can't pull the trigger in time. He's taken down by Armstrong. Boyle moves it over to Jacobs Webb. Farmer bearing down on him. Jacobs Webb gets crushed into the boards by Farmer. Douglas steps up, works it over. A nice move by Wallace, but is knocked out to neutral by the Canadians once again. Liliev trying to catch up to Farmer as he gets away. Farmer carving through the Canadians. Works it to the outside. Has it knocked off his stick by Hickey. And Hickey will freeze it up in the corner, but he gets bumped by Roybal. And a shot in the slot. Eustace misses the target. Liliev flips it out, and it will escape the zone. Hickey steps up. Couldn't block that one in time as Eustace gets knocked out of the play there by Lavin, as Roybal will scoop it up in neutral. 1:54 to go. Jet Lee still in his net to this point. The Americans work it to the outside, nearly offside. Work it over the middle. It's in the skates. Farmer gets a shot off, stopped by Kingsmill. Wallace up in the rush. Flips that one through. As looked like a Michigan attempt almost from long distance. As this one gets played to the corner. Roybal gets bumped off the puck. Eustace. He gets taken down. It's played by Hickey. Hickey gets taken in the boards by Farmer. Puck comes loose as we have competing USA versus Go Canada Go chants here at Canada Games Park as the whistle goes with 1:16 to go in the third.
And for Canada, this was one of Russ Harrington's keys to the game. Keep it simple. You're up by one. Expecting a timeout, hopefully. And indeed, David Hoff will call the timeout for Team USA. And what a position Canada is in. 2-1, 1:16 to go. A position USA hasn't been too familiar because they've won 8 in a row against Team Canada, and they've always been ahead for a large margin of those games, but now trailing with a minute to go. The last time Team Canada defeated the United States was at the gold medal game of the 2024 World Para Hockey Championship. So Canada.
That was October 30th, 2021. So it's been 3+ years in the making.
It's been a long time. So Team Canada, they desperately want this win before going into Buffalo. They played so well, both offensively and defensively. USA held to only 17 shots. Game number 1, they had 23. Game number 2, they had 35, and now 17 shots. Of course, still a minute left to go, so they're going to look to get more shots. The crowd is into it for both teams, and we're up for an exciting last minute of play here in game number 3.
6-on-5 for the Americans. Net is empty. Play is taken by McGregor. He scoops it out and down the length of the ice. Will it slow up? The puck is rolling, but it will slow up just in time as Josh Pauls scoops it up. Pauls works out of his own end. We'll leave it off for Roybal. Final minute of play in the Para Series. Wallace cuts across the line. Dixon between his legs tries to get it clear of the line as Dixon gets taken down. Can't fire it out. It's blocked by Mischevitz. Dixon sprawling on his stomach, trying to get it out as it's pinned up on the near side boards. Dixon gets it free, looks up at the clock for a moment and gets taken into the boards. 35 seconds to play. The Americans having trouble getting it free. It pops out for Wallace. Jack Wallace at the line, leaves it off for Farmer. He's cutting in low, breaks 2 tackles, working it in. Pauls fires a shot, blocked in the shot, slapped by Dixon. Roybal up top for Wallace. Wallace hard cuts back, leaves it off for Farmer. Farmer working in, looking for the backdoor feed, blocked off by the Canadians. It's frozen under Henry. The Americans jabbing away at it. Whistle goes with 5.7 seconds to play.
Wow, intense sequence there. Canada just shutting it down in the slot. The way they collapse, a couple of opportunities. Russ will not call a timeout. He wants to make sure that they don't give USA an extra break. 5 seconds to go.
Farmer against Dixon. It's one back. Roybal walks, fires a shot up and over the net. That's gonna do it. Team Canada has slain the Dragon, and they have defeated the United States by a final score of 2-1.
What a game for Team Canada. They end off the series with the win before avoiding getting swept. What an ovation from the fans. What a game we were treated to, and Team Canada defeats United States of America 2-1. What a way to end up this series.
What a game. What an environment. What an atmosphere. And what a series. It's a shame it has to come to an end so early. We would have loved a 7-game series of this.
We would have.
But 3 games will have to do of action-packed para hockey fun as the Canadians get their get back on the United States and take game 3 by a final score of 2-1. Final shots in the 3rd period, 7-3 in favor of the United States. Canada with the lone marker off of the stick of Vincent Boyle. As what a game. Team USA takes the Para Series by a total of 2-1, but Canada with a lot of momentum rolling into the World Para Championships.
And exactly so, what a way to end off Team Canada. What an effort, a full 45 minutes. And they give a salute to their fans as they should. That's exactly how they needed to go out. It's been a tough series for both men and women, losing the first 5, and Canada, they finished with the bang, and defensively, they shut it down. Not just defensively, Kingsmill, a huge amount of saves, making some big ones. He had so many tough shots that he had to face. He shut it down. Defensively, the defense did such a great job playing physically, making sure there's nothing left in the slot, and forwards in the defensive zone, making sure the points are covered. They were able to get the puck out nice and cleanly, and then offensively, 9 shots. They took it. They don't have many looks offensively, but when they did, they made sure they took advantage of it, and that's how they came up with that 2-1 win.
Adam Kingsmill stopping 16 of 17 tonight in the victory. And when we talked to the coaches and we talked to some of the players on Team Canada, they've all mentioned that all three of their goalies outstandingly strong, but Adam Kingmill getting the victory today, stopping 16 of 17, maybe making a case for himself to becoming the starter, the 1A starter going into the World Championships, as he was fantastic all night long, keeping Declan Farmer mainly off of the score sheet here tonight. But that will do it. I'll look to you tonight for tonight's 3 stars of Canada's 2-1 victory.
Well, I'm going to keep it really simple. It's that second line for forwards for Team Canada. The reason why they won 2-1, starting with my 3rd star, Atan Jacobs-Webb, the Gatineau, Quebec native, got 2 big assists out of those 2 goals, contributing heavily into the offense. As my 2nd star, Mathieu Leliev, able to get his 2nd goal of the tournament, opened up the scoring here, really set the tone for Team Canada, but that would have not happened if it wasn't for that 1st star, Vincent Boily, the Alma, Quebec native. What a performance for him, both offensively and defensively. A snipe, by the way, for Team Canada's game-winning goal. A beautiful feed to Mathieu Leliev to open up the scoring, and then had a huge part in the penalty kill in that 3rd period. Really loved the way he stayed calm, knew what he had to do. Obviously, it's a powerhouse offense for Team USA, and he stayed calm, made sure he didn't chase at all, took all the shooting lanes away, but then, most importantly, that game-winning snipe, and he gets my 1st star for Game 3 between the men's hockey.
The second line was on fire all night long. All 3 of them registering 2 points. Anton Jacobs-Webb now just 1 point away from 50 in his career. Mathieu Leliev picks up goal number 5 of his young career, just playing in game 41. And Vincent Boily 1 point away from 20 in his career. He scored the game-winning goal here in the 3rd period. But that is going to do it from Canada Games Park. Thank you all so much for joining us over this week. It's been an absolute blast to call these games, and we wish both teams luck going forward into the World Championships upcoming. We wish both the women's teams luck upcoming in August, and a massive shout out and thank you to Brocktv for streaming this week. You guys were phenomenal once again. I think everyone at home enjoyed these broadcasts from every aspect of it. And make sure to follow Brocktv Media on YouTube. Make sure to follow Brocktv on Instagram to stay up to date with all the Brocktv content, especially if you enjoyed the stuff you watched this week. But that will do it here from Canada Games Park on Brock University's campus. I'm Mitch Kane for Stefan Berube and for all of Brocktv. Thank you for tuning in this week, and we will catch you in the next one.